Hey crew, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Bridget. I'm a New York City based flight attendant, and today, as promised, I am coming back with part 2 of the question and answer video. So stay tuned. Alright, so I thought I made a dent in the amount of questions that were left, but I guess I was completely wrong because we still have a boatload more left to do. So let's get right into it. The first question is from Sunflower11, and this person's question is, are you planning to watch the new Fast and Furious movie? Fun fact, actually I am going to watch it today, so yes, I am. Next question is from Donica. Disclaimer, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. Is it every month you guys get paid? And this is a good question. Typically, the aviation industry, you get 2 checks per month. It is not bi-weekly like a regular job. So it's on the same day every single month. And each airline has their own day. My old airline was the 15th and the 30th. At my current airline, it's bi-weekly. Next question is Augusto Ricardo, what is your favorite aircraft and why? It's the 787 Dreamliner. I'm assuming that's his favorite aircraft because I don't believe my airline has that aircraft. But my favorite aircraft is the Airbus 221 right now. The reason why I like it is that it's a small, cute jet. The aisles are wide and it has a window in the lavatory. Next question again is from Donica Woolford. How long have you been a flight attendant for? I have been a flight attendant since 2015. I've worked for 3 airlines and yeah, 2015. Next question is from Mia1818. Hey, I have one question before applying for an airline. Do I have to go to school for a flight attendant certificate or anything? By the way, I love your videos. Thank you, Mia. So this is another question that I frequently get asked, and I can only speak for the US because that's where I live. Excuse me, that's where I live, and that is where I've applied to flight attendant positions. I am aware that other countries do it differently, and some countries do require you to have a certificate. So if you do live in the States, my answer is no, you do not need a flight attendant certificate. I do not recommend going to any flight attendant school. I will repeat, I don't recommend going to any flight attendant school. I think that is a waste of your money because you are not guaranteed a job after that. They say that they will help you through the application process, but once you get hired by that airline, you then have to go to training for that airline. Next question is from BJ. Hello, have you always been New York City based? Any thoughts on transferring to Atlanta or Minneapolis? That's a good question, BJ. With my current airline, yes, I have always been New York City based. And no, I will not be transferring to Atlanta or Minnie. I enjoy New York. The only way that I would be transferring out of New York is if they opened a DC base. So as of right now, New York is the only option for me. Next question is from Hannah Watley. I'm sorry if this is a stupid question, but I see the word crash pad everywhere, and I kind of lightly know what it is, but can you explain in depth and if airlines pay for these crash pads? Also, I plan on minoring in a language so that I'd be eligible for international flights, so that I'd have a better chance of having layovers in beautiful overseas cities. Do you think that is okay? And what language do you most recommend? Lastly, should I start learning time zones and abbreviations and vocabulary now? Thank you so much for your time. Okay, Hannah, this was a loaded question, but we're going to answer every part of it. First part, you said, what is a crash pad? A crash pad is a house that rents out beds to airline employees in cities where, airlines have bases. So there's different types of crash pads. Typically, it can range from like 4 to 12 people in one room in bunk beds, or there are single rooms, which obviously would cost more. In crash pads, there's hot beds and there's cold beds. Cold beds are when you pay a monthly amount and that is your bed for the month. No one else can sleep in it. Hot beds, you pay by the day that you want to go, basically, or some people pay it monthly. I've never heard of a monthly situation, but once again, I've never done a crash pad. Say if this room has 6 beds and 8 people paid for today or want to pay for today, it's on a first come, first serve basis. So if you're the 7th person and all 6 beds are occupied, then obviously you would not be sleeping in that room or that crash pad for the night. You then asked, do airlines pay for these? I have not heard of any airline paying for them. Comment down below any aviation employees if your airline, or if you've heard of any airlines paying for crash pads. Typically, I know it is at the expense of the flight attendant. Next, you are minoring in a language so that you'd be eligible for international flights. So it depends on the airline. You don't have to be an LOD, which means language of destination, to get onto international flights. As you can see through my vlogs, I only speak English, and I've been lucky enough to pick up international trips. Now, one thing that you do want to know is that if you do become an LOD, you're not guaranteed the international trips. It is based off of seniority, as everything is in the airline industry. And if at your seniority you can hold LOD flights, then you will get them. But if not, you will work the regular trips like everyone else. And I can't really tell you what language I would recommend, because there's so many languages that airlines fly to destinations that require LOD. So that's really up to you. And lastly, should you start learning time zones, abbreviation, and vocabulary? I also can't answer that question for you because I don't know what step you are in the interviewing process, but I don't think it's necessary until you are going to training and if the airline requires it, because not every airline requires you to know the airport codes. So yeah, I hope that answers all your questions. Next question is from Kim Arrington. What is your favorite position to work on the plane? This is a good question as well. It is specific to domestic and international. Domestic, I'd rather be the galley or the person in the back who sets up everything. And international, I'd rather be in the aisle in the main cabin. Next question is from Rowan Scott. I know you commute now, but would you rather live at or nearer your base? I would love to live in base, but rent in New York City is very expensive. It's no different than where I live now. So unless I get a deal somewhere that it is cost effective for me to live in New York, I will be commuting. Next question is from Marlisa Yarberry. Do some routes tend to have higher maintenance passengers or problematic passengers? Example, I would like to think that routes to and from Orlando might be extra crazy with all the families traveling with babies and children to the parks there, but maybe I am wrong. No, you're not wrong. There are routes that are more work, I would say, and Orlando can be more work, but I just feel Florida in general, this is my own opinion, this is not anything that is based off of any statistics or based off of the airline or anything like that. Florida flights from New York can be a lot of work. Next question is from Malik Pilgrim. You know I'm a rider from day one. Thank you, Malik. But my question to you is, what was the deciding factor that made you really leave your previous airline? And looking back, do you think you made the best decision? Okay, so that is a story that I can't really get into, but I enjoyed my time at my previous airline. Ultimately, my current airline offers me more destinations to fly to, and I do think I made the best decision. I do miss flying with my friends at my previous airline, but other than that, yes, I do think I made the best decision. Next question is from Tiffany Monique. As clear and beautiful as your skin is, you know I've got to ask what the skincare routine is. Thank you, Tiffany. So, my skincare routine. I use a lot of Neutrogena products. I'll link everything below. Without making this lengthy. Next question again is from Tiffany. What is the craziest flight experience you have? Now, I kind of touched on this in part 1 of the question and answer. If you haven't seen part 1, what are you doing? You shouldn't be watching part 2 before watching part 1. So stop right here. I'll link it for you to watch that first and then come back and finish part 2. Another crazy one that I had is actually a story time on my channel, and it is called Aruba something. So I will link that one also right here for you to watch. Next question is from Kevin. Congrats on 1,000. Thank you, Kevin. Does flying for work make you more or less likely want to travel for fun? To be honest, sometimes it makes me less likely to travel for fun because the last place that I want to be is on another airplane or in the airport. But I have to get out of that mindset and use my benefits that I have, because they are wonderful benefits, and start traveling more. Next question is from Brianna. Congrats on 1K. Thank you, Brianna. My question is, with your demanding schedule, how do you manage to stay rested up and ready for work? So everyone has their own preference on how they want their schedule. Typically, I like 2 to 3 days in between each trip. And if you think about it, that means that I fly low time. But that's what keeps me refreshed and ready to work a next trip. So if I work a 3-day trip, have 2 days off, work another 3 days, have 2 days off. So I have that break to reset and decompress before going back to the airport and starting all over. Next question is from Ernest. Congrats on 1K. Thank you. My question is, has being a flight attendant always been your dream career since you were young? No, it was not my dream career. I kind of fell into this profession. I did touch on that in part 1. My dream career actually was to be a doctor. Next question is from Kishana Mitchell. Once again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. What's your favorite self-care routine? Okay. Fun fact, I like to do face masks. If anyone ever wanted to gift me anything, it would be a peel-off face mask. I love peel-off face masks. I don't know what it is about it. Next question is from Shanna Deers. Hi, what's the most important thing that you forgot to bring while packing, say, for a 3-day trip? There's so many different things that I've forgotten to pack. I've forgotten to pack my laptop charger, which was horrible. I've forgotten to pack my glasses. Fun fact, if you guys didn't know, I wear contacts, but I am blind, so I need my glasses once I take my contacts out. And I think that was the worst one. I've forgotten to pack deodorant, socks, which is something that tends to always happen to me when I lay over in London, my toothbrush, but those things are replaceable. Glasses, I think, is the worst that I've forgotten. Next question is from Jazz Wall. How does being a flight attendant affect your social and family life? This is something that people have to get used to once they switch professions and come into the aviation industry, is that you will miss birthdays, you will miss holidays, you will miss meeting up with and hanging out with your friends. And in the beginning, it was hard. My friends didn't really understand, but now I've been flying for a good amount of years, not that long, but my family gets it. I do try my hardest to make every event. Obviously, sometimes that does not happen, and some holidays I do miss, but we'll either celebrate before the holiday or after. So you just have to work around it and accommodate. Next question is from Darling Dari. How do you feel this career has impacted your dating life? In a good way or a negative way? Do you feel it's harder to maintain relationships being a flight attendant? I think that's a really good question. How has it impacted my dating life? I also think that it's not hard to maintain a relationship because you work for what you want. So if you want something, you will put in the work. You will adjust your life. Both of you will compromise so that it's working together for you. Everything that's good is hard work. So I think it's doable. Next question is from Brooklyn. Congratulations. Thank you. How many stages of the interview process does it take to be a flight attendant for your airlines? Please, could you go into detail about each stage of the process? Describe how the probation period is like. Unfortunately, I can't go into specifics on my specific airline's interviewing process. Describe how the probation period was like. Probation wasn't hard for me. Yes, you are looked under a microscope basically for that however long the probation is. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, showing up on time, having your required items, looking compliant in your uniform, you should have no problem. Next question is from Heather Jolly. Congratulations on 1K. Thank you. It's well deserved. Your videos are always fun to watch. Thank you. My question is, if you had to pick another airline to be a flight attendant for, other than your current airline, which one would you pick and why? That is a good question, Heather, but I already work for the best airline, so I don't even have an option to pick from. Next question is from Sky Bobby TV. Shout out to Sky Bobby. He is also another flight attendant YouTuber. I will link his channel right here. Make sure you guys go check it out and subscribe. Congratulations to the 1,000 Club. Thank you. My question is, if you weren't a flight attendant, what would you be? That's a good question. Like I said before, when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor. I don't think I would be a doctor if I wasn't a flight attendant, but I would definitely be doing something in the medical field. Next question is from Michael Carson. My question is, how do you prepare yourself mentally working with so many different coworkers? That actually doesn't affect me. I actually enjoy meeting new people each time, or interacting with new flight attendants each time I work. So the only downfall is if you really gel or mesh with that person, you may not see them for another year, month, years. So you just have to keep in contact other ways. But I don't feel like I do anything in particular to mentally prepare myself. Next question is from Ethan. Oh my gosh, congrats on 1K. Thank you. I've been saying this forever, but you're literally so underrated. Thank you, Ethan. Anyway, my main question is, have you ever flown on your airline's A350? If so, what did you like most about it and what did you not like? So, unfortunately, my base does not fly the A350s, so I have never been on one, and I've never picked up out of base to specifically fly on it, so I can't answer that question for you, unfortunately. Next question is from Mariah Green. My question is, how long until you felt good at your job? I want to figure out how long I'll be outside of my element. That's a really good question. So the big thing with being a flight attendant is repetition. So once I got my own routine down, I would say that I felt like I knew what I was doing. But I would say in the first few months, like 2 or 3 months, I felt like I knew everything that I needed to know that I did on every single flight. Next question is from Keitha Brock. Looking back, is there anything that you would do different as a seasoned flight attendant? Honestly, no. I don't think that I would change the route that I went. I don't think that I would change anything. My journey happened like this for a reason, and I'm thankful for it so far. Next question is from CAJ866. Does turbulence ever scare you when flying? What advice would you give to someone who is flying and experienced turbulence and freaking out? I love your vlogs. Thank you. So another fun fact is that I think I shared this in part 1. I'm afraid of heights. So turbulence itself doesn't scare me, but when you go on a roller coaster and your stomach drops, I don't like that feeling. I don't really feel like I could give advice that would make someone feel better, though. That's the thing. It's going to pass, but even then in that moment, you're still going to be afraid. I don't know. I'm sorry. Next question is from Joy Anderson. Congratulations. What has been your longest layover stateside? I think almost 2 days. It wasn't all the way 48 hours, but it was close enough to 48 hours. Next question is from Chrissy BTV. Congrats on 1K. Thank you. My question is, where has been your favorite and worst destination you have flown? My favorite destination, I like London, as you guys know. My worst destination I've flown is not based off of the passengers. It's not based off of the location itself. It's just based off of the experience I had getting there and getting to my hotel, and that is Long Beach, California. Comment down below if you guys want me to do a story time on this horrible experience, but yeah, Long Beach is the worst destination I've been to. Next question is from Tom. Question for the future Q&A. What was your favorite / funniest part of the boarding process for your Accra flight? Favorite part. My favorite part was when we were coming back to New York, how seamless it was. There was no drama, there was no troubles, there was no yelling, there was no almost fighting. It was just normal. Next question is from Asante J. When are you and your crew scheduled to be back to Ghana? Actually, I don't have any upcoming flights to Ghana, so unfortunately I cannot answer that question for you. Next question is from Matthew Barry. I don't want anything from the giveaway. I'm just glad to support my homegirl's channel. Thank you. But what do you miss most about pre-flying? Likewise, what do you not miss about pre-flying? I'm curious. What I miss most is not having to wear the mask. Now I'm all for the mask. I'm all for the protection. It just gets to become a lot when you're in the mask 20 hours maybe for a whole day, depending on how long your duty day is if you've commuted beforehand. What I do not miss is how messy the planes got beforehand. Now people are wiping their seats down, they're wiping their tray tables down. They're a little bit more neater and cleaner than they were beforehand. Next question is from N42OLE. Have you ever experienced racism directed to you or member of the flight crew? If so, how does the company handle those situations? So I can't speak on specifics for my company. I feel like I've experienced small instances, but that's something that I really can't get into details about. Next question is from Vernell Livingston. What was your favorite layover and where do you see yourself 5 years from now in this position, in this profession? What was my favorite layover? We spoke about this in part 1, but my favorite layover is Vancouver. I enjoyed my time there. And where do I see myself in 5 years? That is a really good question that I cannot answer for you. And the last question, you guys, we made it through all of the questions, is from Kayla Hunter. What was the most challenging aspect of training for you? So of my current airlines training, I had went through 2 other trainings prior to getting to this one, and the hardest part for me was erasing everything that I learned before getting to training and for my previous airlines to relearn things for my new airline. All right, you guys, thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you so much for supporting my channel and getting us to 1K. I'm completely grateful and thankful. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Stay safe and see you soon.